Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome to the weekly Q&A back here on my little Minecraft server that I run. Today we are, I'm just going to carry on building my mob spawner up there because I'm not actually playing this in between the Q&A episodes anymore. I was playing in between. I'm not now. I play World of Warcraft with my son instead, so this doesn't actually get any progress. So it's only sort of basically what you see while we do the recording. But I don't think that's a bad thing. You'll still see things progress and advance. So we'll do a little bit up here, and then perhaps we'll go out and do a bit of mining at the slime farm or something like that today. So first of all, hang on, let me just set... oh, no, I want to do that, don't I? I want to go day, time, set, day would be a good start. Right. We have the notification squads here on the video. We have Onyx GG, Bart Janaman, Dargius, Svir Butavicius, Noob Life, and Mr. Mac. All are within the notification squads with firsts and notification squads comments. Then we have Pootisman from Sandwichland, and he said... August 3rd, I was last week, I can't actually remember who it was, but someone had a baby, or his wife had a baby, I should say. He didn't have the baby, but his wife had a baby, and he was actually watching my video whilst his wife was in labour, because apparently she wasn't very talkative. I'm not sure why she wouldn't have been talkative while she's busy giving birth, but there you go. Strange, yeah, it's strange, it really is, it's very peculiar. But anyway, so yeah, he got a baby on August the 3rd, and a Pootis man from Sandwichland, he had a 6-ton slurry tanker land on his foot. I know this because he also sent me a message on Facebook, and I got a picture of, he sort of showed me just that it was a picture of his bandaged up foot, which wasn't looking very good, I've got to say. And he had to have an operation to, I think he had to have it pinned, which altogether it wasn't very good. It was, it's not the kind of thing that you want to happen to you. So I really am wishing him a speedy recovery. The doctors reckon that he'll be back up to full health by October. So I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing him a speedy recovery. He is very keen to get back to work because he is a farmer, and he's a young farmer. And I think he works, he works for someone else. It's not his own farm or anything. But they've got a brand new John Deere tractor that they've got on there, and he's very disappointed at the moment that he doesn't get to do very much. He was able to have a go with it, but he's not really been able to do very much with it because obviously he got injured. So yeah, I really do wish you a speedy recovery. I hope you get better soon, and maybe you'll even get back to it before the doctors think you will in October. But never fear, October is not actually that far away. So then we have Ivan0902. I send links of awesome mods. Accept me on Skype. No, I don't accept people on Skype. Your time-lapse videos is awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. And I do appreciate the mods. Some people send more mods than others. I do not get a chance to look at all mods, but I do try to look at all the mods. And as for Skype, no, I don't accept any requests on Skype whatsoever. I very, very rarely use it myself anyway. And when I do, it is for personal things, not for anything to do with the channel. I know that my name on there is Frithgar, but don't waste your time sending me friend requests or anything like that, because I just ignore them. I don't respond to them. And Kyla Abend, hey Frith, how was your day? Not too bad, actually. I'm quite enjoying life. I'm loving life, actually. I'm spending most of my time playing computer games, which for someone like me who is an avid lifelong gamer is actually a pretty good way to spend your time. You really can't complain when you get to spend your day playing computer games, and you're able to sort of do it as your primary source of income. It's pretty good. The only improvement that I can make now is if I can grow the channel enough, or between us we can all grow the channel enough that I no longer need to... Now, hang on a minute. Enderman, do they need 4 blocks or 3 blocks to spawn? Because I think a witch needs 3 blocks to spawn, whereas an enderman needs 4 blocks. Or is it 3.5 and a witch needs 2.5? Maybe I can't remember now. I think... Because I want witches to spawn on this, but I don't want endermen to spawn, because if you get endermen spawning in a farm, it can be a real nuisance. I think that Endermen require 3, and maybe witches are 2.5. So it might be that we do half slabs across the top of this one. I'm going to do another bit all the way around the edge like this, and then if somebody could let me know, if anybody does actually know, what is the spawn height of witches on here? Or witches and Endermen. Can I have one and not the other? That's what I'd like to achieve with this. It would be pretty good if we could do that. So let's come on around here. Right. Imagined Chip 939. Hey, please do a bigger time-lapse map. I have lost interest with the smaller map. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've lost interest. But I won't be doing a 4x map again because the responses as a whole, I get a lot more interest in the smaller maps. It's not a smaller map, it's a standard size map. It's just that the Rattlesnake Valley was a 4x map. And a lot of people feel that the 4x map is too big. Some people did really like it, and I will perhaps do another time lapse that has got much bigger fields. I mean, Dowland Farm's got fair size stuff. The fields and everything quite big. It's just the yards are quite small, but that's very typical of a UK farm anyway. The next one's going to be Sandy Bay, which again is it's a UK farm, so we'll be doing that again. But then after that, I'm going to be probably moving abroad somewhere. I don't know where yet, but we will find another one to do. But I'm most likely going to stick with standard size maps now and not go for 4x, because I think really, given the feedback that I received, the 4x map was too big. It was just too much for people. It ended up making it a little bit dull, and people just weren't enjoying it quite as much as they had enjoyed other ones. So no, unfortunately for those people who did like the bigger maps, I'm not planning at the moment to go back to the bigger 4x maps on time-lapse. That's going to be sort of the realm of the unrealistic series, and I'm really enjoying doing that unrealistic series, and that one, massive great big maps, suits it perfectly. It's absolutely perfect. So there is a home for everything, I think, and I think that the very large maps, it's more for that kind of series rather than anything else. Okay, that's a bit better. Just having a drink. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of recording today, so my voice is starting to get a bit croaky. Gaming Guy, are you going to play any horror games? And I love your videos, by the way. Hi. I might play some horror games. I'm undecided on that one at the moment, to be honest. I was thinking of killing that sheep, actually. I was going to murder it in cold blood, but I don't think we've got any sheep back there, so I'm going to kind of want some sheep around at some point soon. So the sheep will live. The sheep will live. Horror games. It depends. I mean, something like Five Nights at Freddy's, when it first came out, that's kind of a horror game, but it's also suitable for kids, because let's be honest, I mean, I'm judging by the reactions of my own kids. One of my children doesn't really like those kinds of games, anything to do with it. My other one, he absolutely loves being scared. So I think that a horror game, so long as it can achieve the balance between scaring a child, because you've got to remember, this is a family channel, and I realize that a lot of the comments come from older people, because a lot of the younger people aren't able to go on and type in questions and comments and stuff like that. But this is a family channel, so I can't do something that is like really, really gory and scary and gonna scar a child for life. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to do that on this channel. But something, so it's like kind of like mild horror with jump scares, that sort of thing. I know a lot of children that absolutely love being jump scared. Proper something goes boo at them and makes them leap out of their skin. I know so many kids that absolutely love that. It's something that they really genuinely do like. A proper decent jump scare. So yes, I might do some horror, but it would depend on what kind of horror we can get and how suitable it is for children. So it does kind of limit the horror games that I can play, but I'm not ruling it out. It's basically anything that I think that if I'm happy for my children to watch it, then it's probably acceptable. This is kind of the view that I have on it. But anyway, Mystic Gamers, I watch your vids on a screen attached to my quad, which is attached to my phone. Is this a good thing? And will you do any co-op play with McStallion? Also great videos. Right. Is it a good thing to have it on your quad bike? Well, as long as your quad bike's not really moving. I mean, if you're in a huge, great big field and you're just tinkling around, just sort of pootling around very, very slowly, I suppose it's okay. Driving at speed whilst watching a screen is probably not the best idea. However, I don't see any real issues with it, so long as you're not driving. So long as you're not driving around, I don't see any issues with it. So yes, I would say that was fine. Will you do any co-op play with McStallion? McStallion is someone who contacted me back when I had like 200 subscribers. Actually, it might have been a few more than that. It was right when I very first started doing Farming Simulator. I can't remember exactly what my subscriber count was, but it was well below 1,000. He contacted me, and we were talking about a few things. He was asking for a bit of advice and stuff. So his channel, he does Farming Simulator. He does a lot of live stream stuff, and he does a lot of co-op play with other people. Not all of his live streams are family friendly, but if I was to do a live stream with him, it would be on the condition that that particular live stream was family friendly, whether it was from his side or my side. And if I was to do a live stream with someone, McStallion is one of these. He's pretty much at the top of the list because we've known each other for quite a long time now, and he supported me a huge amount. He's not one of those YouTubers that's kind of put the odd comment in order to try to promote his own channel. He has supported me in, like, behind the scenes, offering some advice in that with things that I've gotten stuck on, and it's been vice versa as well. And we've also connected as actual friends away from Facebook as well. So yes, definitely, if I ever do co-op play, McStallion is certainly right at the top of the list for people who I would do co-op play with. But that being said, a co-op play at the moment is highly unlikely to come from me. I'm sorry to have to say, but yeah, it is very much it's very much single player from my side of things here, and I realise that some people don't really like that. It is a bit of a disappointment for some people because you do like the chance to be able to play with your favourite YouTubers, but unfortunately it is going to have to stay that way for the time being. Kiko Haid in FS17 by I'm assuming that's Valtra. I do occasionally use some Valtras, yes. Matt Trains, good choice with Toyota Hilux. And also, would you ever play real-time shooter games like Call of Duty on his channel, even though you say you aren't brilliant? See, Call of Duty, I definitely consider Call of Duty not to be family-friendly, but there are similar games that are a little, I think, is like sort of a little bit more friendly to children. My wife studied childcare and child development when she was in college, and the long-term implications of allowing a under 15-year-old to play a game like Call of Duty are quite significant, and a lot of people aren't aware of the long-term impact this can have on children. And it's because their minds are still developing, it's because the brain is still developing, and being exposed to that kind of thing when they're very young can have a very detrimental impact that can affect them later on in life. I know a lot about this because of what my wife has studied. And because of this, I'm very reluctant to introduce games like that onto the channel. Again, it's kind of one of those things where you've got to play it by ear, because I consider something like Skyrim, even though there is violence on there and you've got the bloodshed, you know, you're fighting dragons and stuff like that, it's a bit more sort of cut and dried good versus evil, whereas something like Call of Duty is just like two teams shooting each other, and it's a lot less obvious. There's a lot more it's very difficult one to sort of judge. So maybe I could have a go at games similar to that, but I'm reluctant at the moment. It has to be said, I am very reluctant at the moment to sort of head into that kind of territory. So yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. Let's just pop that one in there, so we've got some beef cooking as well. Yeah. So, and when I say I'm not brilliant, I'm rubbish. I suck. I absolutely suck at those types of games. I'm useless. It's literally, I just can't. I've never been able to kill anyone in those types of games. GoldenEye. On the Nintendo 64, that one I was really good at. There was something about GoldenEye that I just clicked with, and I was invincible. I was literally unstoppable. But since then, I've never found a first-person shooter game that I am even remotely good at. I am absolutely awful at them. So I might, if I can find one that I think would be suitable for everybody to watch, but at the same time, it's not that I'm not brilliant, it's that I am absolutely terrible, really, really awful at them. Scott M. Question, you have time machine. What time period would you go to and why? For example, I'd go several thousand years into the future to see if humanity still exists. And if so, would it be Utopia or more like Mad Max? That is an awesome question. That is a genuinely awesome question. See, I would also like to go into the future and see if we had attained Utopia, or if we were living like Mad Max. In particular, the one thing that I would really want to see in the future is, are we traveling to the stars? Are we traveling to different planets? I mean, even just do we have a colony on Mars and the moon and the like? Go forward 5,000 years, and do we regularly, rather than going on holiday to Mallorca, or if you live in the States, I think like you guys go to Florida or Miami, or to like Hawaii or something like that. Rather than our holidays being like that, we go to the beaches on one of the planets next to Andromeda 5, that sort of thing. Would that be happening? Would that be like a thing in the new world? Because if it was, that would be absolutely incredible. It'd be brilliant. So that's my first choice, is yes, to go forward several thousand years and see what's happening. But also, I wouldn't mind going back several thousand years. All the stuff that we know, but there's also so many unanswered mysteries, like the Egyptians. Now, the Egyptians, there are mysteries with the Egyptians and things that they've done. There are sarcophagi that are made out of one single solid stone, right? It's just one solid rock. And microscopic analysis of the rock shows that these sarcophagi were drilled out, okay? You can see the rotations and the cuts in the stone. One thing, though, the technology they had at the time, you could have drilled it out, but it would have also required a lot of sort of pounding and hitting of the stone, which didn't take place. They can tell through the microscopic analysis that such pounding and hitting did not take place. So what did take place was a drill, and it literally drilled out the stone. Maybe, except that they can tell by the marks exactly how much stone was removed with each rotation of the drill bit and how big the drill bit was. Absolutely fantastic. It's something that you can do with anything that has been drilled, that such an analysis is possible. The thing with the ancient Egyptians is that the amount of stone that was removed from the sarcophagi with one single rotation of the drill in relation to the drill bit size is currently impossible. Okay? Absolutely, completely, 100% impossible for us to achieve. We are not capable of removing that much rock at that hardness with a single rotation of a drill bit. Not the most powerful drill in the world. It cannot be done. How did they do it? Right? How did they do it? How did they make amphora, which is a bottle that would have contained wine or other fluids, most likely wine, but I mean they were also used for like storing oil and things like that, because olive oil was very valuable. How did they make those out of a single piece of stone when the actual neck to the bottle is so narrow that you can't fit a chisel in through it, let alone chisel out the entire amphora on the inside? And not only do that, but have a perfect uniform thickness to the stone all the way round, and there is no join anywhere all the way round the bottle. How did they do it? So yeah, I'd like to go back several thousand years and find out just what happened. What were these Egyptians up to? Because they have done some pretty amazing things that nobody has got a clue how they managed to accomplish. It's absolutely mind-boggling what they did. So yeah, we are there are many mysteries that we want answers to, that I want answers to, and so yeah, I would go back several thousand years and try to find out the answers to these great mysteries. I think that would be absolutely awesome. But so yes, I would do both. That was a brilliant question. I've enjoyed that question. Mini Trixie, play the old Star Wars Battlefront 2. Well, I might do, yeah. Writer Sepulus, do you have a fidget spinner and what do you think about it? Do you ever play KSP Kerbal Space Program? What is your favourite song? One from NCS and one from something else. Right. Fidget spinner, I don't have one. My son does have one. They're okay. I don't really care either way, to be honest. I know that for some children, they are absolutely amazing because they can help them concentrate. If they've got the fidget spinner going on in their hand, it really does help them to focus on what they're doing. I have seen it firsthand in my kids' school. I've seen some other kids using it. If they've got their fidget spinner there, they can concentrate, they can really do their work, and it really, really does help. So yes, I don't like the idea that because they've become mainstream, suddenly they're getting banned, and children that do actually really genuinely benefit from the use of them are being denied the use of them. I find such things quite upsetting, really. Yes, there doesn't seem to be a need to ban everybody from using it just because one person can't do it properly. But anyway, that's the sort of the case of it. So yes, fidget spinners, for me personally, I don't really care. I've used a fidget spinner a little bit, as my one of my sons has got one. But yeah, spin it a bit, and that's about it. There's not a lot else to do with the thing, and so I don't find it particularly entertaining. What else? Kerbal Space Program, no, I've not, but I have had several people say that I should try it, so I might get onto that one at some point, when I can find the time. Favourite songs, one from NCS and one from something else. Right, favourite song from NCS, that is a really tough one. There are several. Quite possibly... I really don't know. There are so many really good ones. I do use some of my favourite ones. The ones where I can't even remember his name now. Is a guy does some singing. It's not the last episode I did, but the one before I used him. I used a couple of his songs where he does the vocal for the backing track for a couple of different artists. He's Janning, I think it is, or Yanning. I think that's who he is. It's absolutely amazing voice, and some of the songs that he comes up with are really amazing. It's really cool to listen to. And yeah, it's kind of whatever takes my mood. And outside of NCS, again, it's a really, really tough choice. I do like listening to Mumford & Sons. I find them really cool. It's quite relaxing listening to them. They're fairly laid back kind of music. But it does depend. I mean, depending on the mood. I mean, sometimes I listen to heavy metal, sometimes I listen to thrash metal, sometimes I listen to classical, traditional Irish ballads. I listen to literally just about every type of music on the planet. The only types of music that I don't particularly enjoy are rap, hip hop, and the new R&B. Old rhythm and blues music. Again, if I'm in the right mood for it, it's fantastic, and jazz is really good. So it's literally rap, hip hop, and sort of an R&B, that kind of thing. For those of you in the UK, you probably remember Destiny's Child. I don't know if they were very famous outside of the UK. Their music, I thought, was some of the worst music in existence. I absolutely detest their songs. It is awful. Other than that, there's not a lot of music that I don't like, and I listen to every type of music that you could think of, just about, at one point or another. So yeah, there's no real hard favourite of mine. It does vary hugely depending on my mood on that particular day. Patrio Grazemark, for the custom plates that aren't my name, I'd have got... Avo 8UH5, which is shove over as read from a rearview mirror, which is absolutely brilliant. I really like that because of Fast Lane Hogs. Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I like that. Because he asked me last week what I would have on a customized number plate if I couldn't have my own name or Frithgar on it. So yeah, that was it. And easy one from the random pile this time. Are you left or right-handed? I am right-handed. Interesting fact, though. left-handed people are typically more creative than right-handed people. So in certain circles, like artists and so on, you will find more left-handed people than you will right-handed people. This is to do with the side of your brain that is given over principally to creativity. And because of the right and the left-handed and how your brain controls movement and stuff, if you are left-handed, your creative side is given more exercise than your non-creative side, which in turn results in I need to empty out some of this, which in turn results in like sort of working those creative juices a little bit harder. So you will find a higher percentage of creative people are left-handed. In the world's population as a whole is... Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to go like that, because I don't want them in there. I want them over here. Yeah, the world's population as a whole is it's something like 10% left-handed, whereas the prison population is something like 25 to 30% left-handed. So yeah, that's another absolutely amazing fact about left-handed people, is that the prison population is a much higher percentage of left-handed people than the non-prison population. And again, it's to do with the creativity, because and obviously the creativity in this particular case failed miserably, but it's still there, because to commit a lot of crimes, especially... Well, not crimes of passion, but crimes of that have been carefully thought out, does require a huge amount of creativity in order to be able to pull something off. So yeah, left-handed people are typically more creative than right-handed people, and I am right-handed. I am a right-handed people, so yeah, I'm sort of got that setback to start with when I'm trying to do a creative channel, like a gaming YouTube channel. But there we go. Thank you for that question. Jamie O'Connell. Hey, Frith, I know you've told us your name is Craig. In Northwest Texas, episode 14, use a plow mod with a customized name. Salford 8312 plus Percy. Who or what is Percy? Right. Well, that's not very friendly. I was just reading the reply to that comment underneath, and I don't think that's very nice, to be honest. Jamie O'Connell, brilliant question. He did ask me this, and he said, should I put this here, or should I ask it in the weekly questions? I said, well, you could stick it in the weekly questions if you like. Percy is a name that I think is amazing. I wanted to name one of my sons Percy, and my wife vetoed Percy flat out. I wasn't even allowed to choose a middle name for one of them as Percy. I was not allowed Percy whatsoever. We compromised, and one of my children has a middle name of Henry, which is, you know, it's closer, but it's not good enough. Percy is just a name that I really like. I've often named things Percy, and if someone is asking for a suggestion for a name, Percy is the first thing that I will suggest. There's something about the name Percy that I really like. It suggests small, jovial, and friendly, probably from my days of being a massive Thomas the Tank Engine fan. And of course, you got Percy in Thomas the Tank Engine, haven't you? So that is where the Percy thing came from, and I frequently use the name Percy for all kinds of things. And that was just a personal, just a quick reference for myself to remind myself which of the mods that I was using was the modified one, and which one was the original one, so that's why I added in plus Percy. But I just love the name Percy. I think the name Percy is a really awesome name. I've got a couple of names that I use for, not for like my characters when I'm playing games, but for like pet names and stuff. Percy, Tarquin, Fred, and George are frequently shown up in when I'm naming pets and things like that in a game that I'm playing. Tarquin is a personal favourite of mine. I really love Tarquin, but Percy has got to be the favourite. So I'm very careful about what I apply Percy to. If I'm starting a new character, I don't rush in and use the name Percy. I wait until I'm absolutely certain that it is a proper Percy moment, because a Percy moment has got to be one that is just right. You can't just go applying the name Percy to anything. It's got to be carefully thought through. You've got to commit. You've got to want the Percy. You've got to need the Percy. And if the Percy isn't ready, then you have to wait. So yes, that's where the name Percy comes from. I have a minor, strange obsession with the name Percy. But yeah, thank you for the question. Peter Gagnon Jr., What was your favourite job working on farms? I'm an older viewer and enjoy your videos. Keep it up. My favourite ever job working on a farm was driving a combine. I drove a Lexian combine. I can't actually remember which one it was. But yeah, I did drive a Lexian combine one summer. That was far and away my favourite job. My second favourite job was when I worked for a moorland sheep farmer, and it's sort of hill land, for those of you who don't know what moorland is. It's hills where you cannot grow crops there. The climate is wrong for growing crops. You can get a cut of grass in a year. You certainly wouldn't be able to get 3. You might, if you're really lucky, get 2 cuts. The ground is very good for growing sheep. Lots and lots of sheep, and maybe some cows as well. Definitely not dairy cows. It's purely a beef animal and sheep kind of area. And my second favourite job after driving the combine was using the quad bike, and the guy that I used to work for had a very powerful quad bike. The smaller quad bikes are good, but a big, strong, powerful quad bike is just so much fun. And going up across the moors to check the sheep. And it's not just driving around a field, it's really, really rough, uneven ground filled with bogs, and you got like peat bogs here, there, and everywhere, and you got deep ponds and puddles and ditches and rivers, and there is nothing flat or even whatsoever, and you've got to cover about 5 square miles of land in order to make sure that you've checked where all the sheep are and that they're all okay and none of them are like stuck upside down, dying, whatever. Yeah, so spending an entire afternoon riding around that kind of terrain on a quad bike and getting to call it work, you'd struggle to find something better than that. You really would. You would genuinely struggle to find something better than that. The only reason I don't do that anymore is because when it's absolutely hoofing it down with rain, it's not nearly so much fun, and you don't get paid a lot to do it either. So yeah, that was my favourite jobs. Danny Brady do GTA 5. Possibly, but that one's a little bit too adult for this channel in general, so I'd have to be very selective about what I could show. Face reveal from Danny Brady again. Yes, I will when I reach 100,000 subscribers. We are currently on around 39,300. We're fast approaching 40,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I am gobsmacked at the rate at which we are growing at the moment. It is amazing. It is absolutely awesome. So we are getting ever closer to the face reveal. I'm going to have to start seriously thinking about buying a decent video camera so that I can do my face reveal video when we reach 100,000 subscribers. Big Sless. Oh, no, sorry. CG, it's spelled Landwirtschafts Simulator 2017. I tried to say what it was last week, the LS17, rather than FS17. And it's Landwirtschafts Simulator 2017. Greetings from Germany. Thank you for clarifying that one for me. I really hate it when I get pronunciations wrong. I do my absolute best to pronounce things from different parts of the world how they should properly be pronounced, and it's not always easy. Big Slash, would you consider making a video of some of your models and Warhammer figures you have painted? I used to build lots of model kits. I also got into painting Warhammer 2, but I've never had a battle. The nearest I got was playing Hero Quest when I was younger. I haven't painted any for a while. I haven't painted for a very long while. My son does do a little bit of painting, so I've occasionally just picked up a brush and done a little bit. In order to be able to properly film some painting of Warhammer models, you need very good cameras that can zoom in and do macro filming, which are very expensive, and I don't have any of them. Besides which, my skill at painting is far too limited to be much of an instructional video. It's more a video of, well, this is good, but if you want some real improvement. If you want to watch Warhammer videos, I'd suggest going to the actual official Warhammer site, because the guy that does the tutorials for them, not the Warhammer site, the Warhammer YouTube page, because the guy there that does the videos is a younger guy, and he does it's really absolutely crystal clear what he's talking about. He is very generous with all the different paints and stuff he uses, because obviously they're running a business and they do want you to buy as many as possible. So just bear in mind that there is no right and wrong way to paint. As far as color schemes go, you can use whatever colors you like. You don't have to do the exact colors that he's using. But the techniques that he's showing are absolutely fantastic, and he is a very, very talented painter. He's so yeah, if you want tips and tricks for Warhammer stuff, he's the one to go for. And at the moment, I've got no plans of showing painting for Warhammer. I might one day show some of the better models that I've painted, but that's probably going to be about it. Antman Green, what is the recording and editing software that you use? I use Cyberlink software for editing. It's Cyberlink Power Director 15, I think it is, or 16. I can't remember what iteration we're up to at the moment. But yeah, Cyberlink software. I have encountered some issues with it, but generally speaking, it's really good. It's really powerful, and it works really well. So I can't really complain about it. And a lot of the issues I've had, I have since found out after getting rather irate about them, that it's an issue that it's issues that are plagued by. All editing software is plagued by. Editing videos is a really big task for any computer to undertake, and you don't appreciate when you start out as a YouTuber just how much work it is for the computer itself to process and render your videos. And it's only after a lot of research that I've sort of come to appreciate just what is going on behind the scenes, so you can understand why these things go wrong, and all of them go wrong. So yeah, Cyberlink Power Director is the one that I use. I think it's absolutely fantastic. For recording, I use D3D Gear. It's available on Steam, and I would thoroughly recommend it. It really doesn't use any system resources that you can notice. It just ticks along in the background without any issues whatsoever. I can count the number of actual issues I've had with the D3D Gear itself on one hand in all the time I've run the YouTube channel. Most of the issues I've had with the recording have come from some other source, such as hardware failure or something like that. So yes, again, it's an absolutely brilliant program. I thoroughly recommend anyone that wants to do any recording to get that and try it out. As for live streaming, though, I don't know. I have heard a few people making some complaints about that one for live streaming. But I think he's probably worked them out, because the guy that wrote that software, he's on the ball. He really is, and he's constantly releasing updates for the whole lot. So it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'd really recommend, if you're going to do any recording and editing, D3D Gear for your recording, and Cyberlink software for your editing, for photos, videos, anything like that. It's brilliant. Michael Prodger, how long does it take for you to record the time-lapse videos? I do about 6 hours of footage. It's generally anywhere from 5.5 hours up to 7 hours. One of the time-lapses I did recently, where I was doing a whole load of chainsaw work and cutting up trees, putting them into the wood chippers, that one was actually only 4 hours, because I slowed it down a lot more than I normally do because of the work that I was doing sort of on foot, carrying branches around it. And I think it worked out fairly well, because I've had issues getting the speed right on those in the past. So yeah, I did do that a bit shorter than I normally do, but normally it's about 6 hours, and then the total editing time to sort of render it with the editing software, and then add in the music and add in all the subtitles, takes another 6 hours roughly. So you're looking at about 12 hours in total per time-lapse episode that I do. Darker, I just watched your last time-lapse. I know that I already pointed this out, but I'm afraid to say Frithgar will most likely pass away from egg overdose. Stop eating eggs. Well, yes, I do seem to eat a lot of eggs, but you must bear in mind that it's not every day, is it? The first episode was like the first few days of winter, and then this second episode was the second episode that I did, well, like the last episode I did, was finished up in the early spring. So, like, we've gone through an entire quarter of a year. So if you take that into account, I've not really had very many eggs at all. I could probably increase my egg intake, because eggs are quite good for you in moderation. I may not be having enough. So thank you for pointing that out, Darker. You're right. I do think I need to have more eggs. Perhaps I should increase my egg intake. I will have to stop halfway through the video as well and point out that I'm having yet more eggs. Brilliant. Right, Andy Greer, what hobbies do you have except for gaming? Well, the Warhammer thing, although I haven't really done any of that for a very long time. Gaming is a big part of my hobbies. What do I do other than that? Well, It depends. It really depends on my mood. I do some wood turning, which I haven't done for a little while. I do carving with some hand carving tools, and again, I haven't done that for a little while. It's because I've since sort of going moving to running YouTube full time. I have got no spare time because I also have to do a part-time job in order to top up my income, which means that I'm doing a full-time job and a part-time job, and my spare time is very, very limited. So at the moment, the half day off that I get per week, I spend it with my wife and my children, and we do things together. So for actual hobbies, things like my wood carving and turning wood on a lathe, Warhammer stuff, things like that, I just haven't had time to get to them for a very long time now. Hopefully I will get back to it at some point. The YouTube is growing and growing and growing at a phenomenal rate, which means that at some point soon I will be able to just do YouTube full time, which is a lifelong dream for me, and all of you are the ones that are making this possible. So thank you very much for that. That is just amazing. I absolutely love the fact that a lifelong dream of mine is coming to fruition. And I know that I'm saying lifelong and YouTube hasn't been around for very long. At least not compared to my 36 years of age. I'll just point out that gaming has been an absolute passion of mine my entire life, and is gaming that has been my lifelong dream. To be able to play computer games for a living, to earn a full-time living playing computer games, that is the bit that I'm talking about, has been an absolute lifelong dream. And that is now coming to fruition, and it's because of all of you. So, yeah. It's absolutely amazing. I'm amazed that so many people are watching my videos every day, to be honest. I look at the videos, like, there's so many other people out there. Why are you picking me? But yeah, so despite the mystery surrounding it, I am incredibly grateful, because it's just awesome. You're genuinely making a dream come true, as a lifelong dream. I'm now playing computer games for a living, which is just phenomenal. So yeah, it's kind of my main hobby is now becoming my job. So a lot of my spare time was used to be spent gaming anyway, and it's just continuing on, really. And yeah, so I would say, like, the whole woodwork thing, wood turning and carving, and also making matchstick models. I do like to make matchstick models occasionally when I got time. Just sit down with like a film or something running. I once made a rickety old wooden bridge. I think I did mention it before. It's rickety old wooden bridge, quite a big one, whilst sitting down and watching the entire set of Lord of the Rings. I had a proper Lord of the Rings marathon one day, starting early in the morning, finishing quite late in the day, and watched all of the Lord of the Rings stuff. And while I watched it, I built this entire matchstick model rickety wooden bridge. It was absolutely brilliant. I'm very pleased that I still got that one. So yeah, I do like to do things like that, like careful, painstaking work every now and then. That's about it, really. I can't think of any other hobbies. I mean, I seem to collect hobbies. I collect collections of things as well. I have all sorts. I've got stamp collections. I've got keyring collection. I've got I pick up anything I can find. I pick up and I keep, and it drives my wife wild, because she's one of the sorts of, she's quite minimalist. She likes to get rid of stuff, whereas I'm completely the opposite. I don't like to get rid of stuff. Getting rid of stuff causes me physical pain. So yeah, we do sometimes come to minor disagreements over what we should keep and what we shouldn't keep. Mostly because I want to keep stuff and she doesn't. So yeah, well, we do have to compromise on that sometimes. And I do occasionally have to get rid of some things, but not, most things I do get to keep. She's understanding of my quirks, which is one of the reasons that I married her. And finally, Ruben Major, for the very final question. Frithka, I've got a few questions, actually. Have you ever been to the Netherlands? If no, would you want to? What do you know about the Netherlands? Do you consider a dairy farm with 100 cows and a Renault 75 horsepower tractor and a Schaefer loader? It's like the Weidemann of Gorali, but a little bigger. And about 50 hectares of grass, a big farm. I would consider that to be a medium-sized farm. 50 hectares of grass, 20 hectares of maize is, yeah, I'd say that's fairly medium-sized. With the tractors and so on. It's very similar to farms that I have worked on, and I would say they're medium. A large farm I would consider to be 200 cows and double the amount of land. So when I'm talking to people who've got like literally thousands of hectares of land. That's not large, that's just obscene. Large, you don't need. That is just obscene. It really is. I've worked on places like that, and yes, I thought the whole time I worked this is just obscene. It's enormous amounts of land. It's absolutely huge. So yes, I consider that to be like a medium, fairly normal sized farm. I got to be honest. I would class that as a fairly normal sized farm. So, and the Netherlands, I know a bit about the Netherlands. You grow tulips, don't you? And lots of tulips. Windmills are everywhere. That's to do with the Netherlands, isn't it? And it's flat. There's lots and lots of flat land. You've got the dikes everywhere, which are holding back the sea. You've reclaimed a lot of sea. The Netherlands are famous worldwide. Well, Holland is Holland as a whole, the country in Netherlands is part of Holland, or is it the other way around? I'm not quite sure. I think the Holland is like as a whole, and the Netherlands is part of Holland. But yeah, you're famous worldwide for your abilities for like holding back the ocean and reclaiming land that has been claimed by the ocean, turning it into fertile farming land. Large flat areas of land. I've never been there. I would love to go there. I would love to go around and take a look at it. And that's kind of what I know about the Netherlands. So yeah, you also grow lots of potatoes, don't you? Potatoes are quite common over there, as well as I believe sugar beet is as well. That's about it. And yes, I do want to go there. I think I already said that. But anyway, that is really all I got time for today. I did manage to get through all of them, but I think I've gone on a little bit longer than I actually originally intended to. If you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. If you have any questions at all, anything you'd like to know, then head in the comment section, ask me the questions, and I will do my best to get through them all next week if I can. If not, I will get through as many as I can, and we'll sort of take it from there. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.